A quiet kind of defiance. In a town where a man's worth is measured by what he hides, one lawman chooses to stop running. This is a story of quiet defiance, of love that doesn't ask permission, and the kind of strength that doesn't bend. Welcome to Secrets Under Stetsons. Chapter 9. The Line He Couldn't See. The wind came in low that morning, dragging dust across the street in long, restless streaks. Elijah Cade stood at the edge of town, one boot up on the hitch rail, watching the horizon like it might give him answers it had no business holding. Sheridan was waking slow. A wagon creaked past. Someone laughed too loud outside the mercantile. Same as every morning. But it didn't feel the same. It hadn't for days. He hadn't seen Liam, not in the jail, not in the saloon, not leaning in a doorway with that quiet, knowing look that got under Elijah's skin like a splinter he couldn't dig out. It should have settled him. It didn't. It left something stretched tight inside his chest. He pushed off the rail and made his way down the street. Boots steady, eyes forward, routine. That's what kept a man right. The jailhouse came into view, same as always, solid, reliable, a place where things made sense. Men did wrong. They paid for it. Simple. Elijah stepped inside. Empty. The quiet sat heavier than usual. He moved to his desk, ran a hand across the worn wood, then stopped. There it was again. That pull. Not toward trouble. Toward something worse. Something he didn't understand. By midday, the sun had burned off the chill, leaving the town exposed and sharp-edged. Elijah made his rounds, spoke when needed, nodded when he didn't, but his mind kept circling back. Not to a crime, not to a problem, to a man. He found himself near the stables before he realized he'd walked there. Horses shifted in their stalls, leather creaked, the smell of hay and sweat filled the air. And then, Sheriff. Elijah turned. Liam stood just inside the shade of the barn, one hand resting on the rail, the other loose at his side. Like he'd been there the whole time, like he knew Elijah would come. "You're working now?" Elijah asked, voice even. Liam shrugged. "Figured I ought to." Elijah nodded once. Silence stretched, not empty, heavy. "You been avoiding town?" Elijah asked. Liam's eyes held his. "Or you been looking for me?" That landed. Harder than it should have. Elijah's jaw tightened. "I don't look for men." Liam stepped closer, slow, measured. "No," he said. "You just notice when they're gone." Elijah held his ground, didn't move, didn't reach, didn't step back. But something in him shifted. A line he'd drawn long ago. He couldn't see it anymore. "You're playing a dangerous game," Elijah said quietly. Liam shook his head. "No, Sheriff, I'm just standing still." Another step closer. "Seems to me," Liam went on, "you're the one doing all the moving, walking circles around something you don't want to face." Elijah's hand flexed at his side, not toward his gun, just tension. "You don't know what you're talking about." Liam's voice softened, but didn't weaken. "Then why does it feel like you do?" That was it. That was the thing Elijah couldn't outrun. Not the town, not the law, not the years he'd spent building something solid and safe. This, right here, a man standing too close, seeing too much, saying too little. Elijah stepped forward, not enough to close the distance, but enough to change it. "You keep pushing," he said low. "You're going to find a line you don't want to cross." Liam didn't move, didn't flinch. "Maybe," he said. "Or maybe I already did, and you didn't stop me." The barn felt smaller, the air tighter. Every sound outside, wagon wheels, voices, wind, felt far away, like the world had pulled back and left just the two of them standing there. Elijah looked at him, really looked. And for the first time, it wasn't just curiosity. It wasn't just tension. It was recognition. Then he stepped back, just one step. But it was enough. The distance returned. The line, whatever it was, snapped back into place. "Get back to work," Elijah said, voice firm again. Liam held his gaze a moment longer, then nodded. "Yes, sir." Elijah turned and walked out into the sunlight, didn't look back, didn't slow down, didn't stop until the town wrapped around him again. But the line he'd stepped away from, he knew now. It wasn't gone. It was just waiting. And next time, he wasn't sure he'd be able to see it at all. Until next time, the dust hasn't settled yet. There's more to this story, more to uncover, more to fight for, and more waiting just beyond the next sunrise. Come back next week and walk a little further down this road with them.